Hey guys, what's up? And today I'm going to be doing my NBA playoff predictions. There are some updates and it's on the screen right now. So yeah, you can look at it right now, but I'll be going into it. But before I do, can we hit 775 subs before the start of the playoffs for a few away? And it would mean a ton, like 5 to 10 away. It would be really cool though. I was trying to hit 800 by like the end of the first or second round, 900 by the end of the playoffs. That'd mean a ton. But yeah, so at the first round for the Eastern Conference, I have the Bucks winning over the Orlando Magic. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, the Bucks are just an all-around better team, though they have been performing trash in the bubble. So I have the Magic, and I mean, I don't know if I even need to explain it. Then I have the Heat over the Pacers. And throughout much of the bubble, players were out, but for the Heat. And Domantas Sabonis will be out for part of it. Turner, Brogdon, Oladipo, and TJ Warren could be out for the Pacers during the series. Sabonis already is. But for the Heat, they finally, managed to get fully healthy. I think it's going to be an easy win for the Heat, probably 5 games. And then the Boston Celtics over the 76ers. I mean, maybe with Simmons and Embiid in, I'd pick the Philadelphia 76ers, but I can't imagine the Celtics losing to a team that doesn't really have anyone except Joel Embiid in there performing trash in the regular season also. And I do believe one of the players for the 76ers will be injured during the series because they are always injured. So, Celtics in 6. Then Raptors over the Nets. I mean, the Nets have been performing great. Jamal Crawford actually might return for the game. But the Raptors are just an all-around better team, and I think they have more will to win than the Nets. So I'm going to say Raptors in 5. I'll give the Nets 1 game just because they've gone 5-3 in the playoffs. And also, I'll say Bucks over Magic in 4. And then for the Western Conference, Lakers and the Trailblazers. Now, I do believe the Trailblazers will make this close. It'll be a 5 or 6 game series. But I can't imagine LeBron losing the first round. I can't. If he loses in the first round. But then the OKC Thunder. Now, I'm going to pick them over the Rockets. You can change it back and forth, to be honest. I'm having doubts about this pick. This is one of the few picks. No, I have picks about pretty much every pick. And I have doubts about every pick because I don't mean to brag, but the NBA is the one thing I'm actually good at knowing. Like, I'm trash at sports. I do know the NBA. So I'm just contradicting everything I think of for almost every series. But I'm going to pick the Thunder to win just because Russ is out for the first few games. Could be out for longer. But then Nuggets over Jazz. I do think, I'm pretty confident in this one. Mike Conley's going to be out for it now. And the Jazz have just been performing trash in the play-in. And the Nuggets are a top team. And they could have some players like Will Barton and Gary Harris returning during the series. And then the Clippers over the Dallas Mavericks. I do think this will be kind of close. I think Luka will just will the Mavericks to make it 5 or 6 games. But I'm going to pick the Clippers just because the offensive side, I do believe the Mavericks are better. The defensive side, though, I do believe the Mavericks are just not a good defensive team, and the Clippers are great. And against the Lakers, against Thunder, Rockets, Trailblazers, Nuggets, Jazz, I do believe the Mavericks have a good chance. Not a good chance, but chance. And I'd probably pick the Mavericks over the Thunder, Rockets, Jazz, potentially Nuggets, and Trailblazers. It would be close between the Lakers, but the Clippers are just that one team that the Mavericks cannot win against. And very unlucky that they got matched up against them. So the first round winners are the Bucks, Heat, Celtics, Raptors, Lakers, Thunder, Nuggets, and Clippers. And yes, this first matchup of the second round is the one that is the big upset for me. I'm going to be picking the Heat over the Milwaukee Bucks. I do not blame you if you click off right now. I do not blame you if you go in the comments and say, you're absolutely insane. You don't know anything about the NBA because of this pick. I wouldn't blame you. To be honest, I didn't. At first, I was like, I'm not going to do a ton of research. I was like, yeah, it's probably an easy pick. Bucks. I was like, the Heat are kind of good against the Bucks. I guess I'll do some research on that series. The Heat own the Bucks. They only played 3 times in the regular season, but the Heat are 2-1 against them. They're supposed to play in like April or something. I believe in April, but of course, Corona, yeah. But against the Bucks, the Heat are 2-1. In some of the games, the first game that they played against the Bucks, Jimmy Butler was out, and they still won in overtime. And some of their big players fouled out. The Bucks had pretty much everyone playing, except for Kyle Korver, which is a trend in this, but I don't think Korver is going to decide who wins between the Heat and the Bucks. I mean, if he does, shout out to him, but I doubt it. Then in the second game, both teams were healthy, and the Heat did win. They won 105-89, I do believe, and that was actually the lowest score for the Bucks up until that point. I think it was for the whole season also. And then they played one game in the bubble, which the Bucks did win this game, but a ton of people are out for the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler was out, Tyler Hero was out, KZ Okpala was out, and no one was really out for the Bucks, but the Heat managed to not get blown out. So I do think the Bucks do have a good chance of winning this, but I'm going to say the Heat in 7 just because other than Giannis, I don't know if the rest of the Bucks team wants it that much. If you guys want me to make just a whole-on video about this, I will. Probably be out tomorrow. If you guys want it, tell me in the comments. You have to tell me in the comments if you do. Yeah, say you want it or you don't want it. Okay? So I'm not going to go that deep into it, but I do believe the Heat want it more than the Bucks, and that Jimmy Butler just wants it so much, and the Heat are just a better all-around team, and if Giannis can get stopped or the three-pointers just don't fall for the Bucks, the Heat can win the series. Then Raptors over Celtics. I think Siakam's just going to be too much for them. The Celtics don't really have any big men. And this is the one thing that I do believe the 76ers do have the edge. Joel Embiid is going to go off in this series, but I do think that he could get injured in it. But I think that the Raptors won a ton. Celtics are still a young team. And Kemba really doesn't have any playoff experience, to be honest. You would think that all the young players like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they're the young players. They have way more playoff experience than Kemba. But in the Raptors, Nick Nurse is just... this is going to be the battle of the coaches, though. Nick Nurse versus Brad Stevens, what a battle. I do think it'll go to 6 or 7, but just the depth and the size advantage for the Raptors will prevail. I think they're going to win. And then the Lakers versus the Thunder. I can't imagine LeBron losing in the second round also. I mean, this is a really just dumb argument that I'm saying. LeBron can't lose there, but I don't imagine LeBron losing there. I don't know who the Thunder are going to use to stop him. Chris Paul, he's annoying, but I don't think he can stop him. I mean, he's too short because he's a guard. Steven Adams, too slow. They're not going to be able to stop him. No, Shea and another player is probably just going to team up on LeBron. Double team Davis will have a great series. And then Clippers versus Nuggets. I'm going to be saying the Battle of Los Angeles will happen as the Clippers beat the Nuggets. Again, just the defense. And that the Clippers defense is so much better than the Nuggets. Maybe last year the Nuggets would have a chance, but I mean the Clippers defense is just so much better. I do believe the Clippers will actually be going to the conference finals. Wow. It doesn't really happen a lot. You choke a lot. I can't say anything. I'm a Wizards fan. I take that back. My main team is the Wizards. I can't say anything about that. My bad. But then Raptors versus Heat. I do believe the Raptors are going to win. Now, this will be kind of contradictory to what I'm saying for the Heat versus the Bucks. But the Raptors have just been so hot. The Raptors won it a lot also. I think the whole team wants it. I think Lowry really wants it. And Siakam. Siakam wants to prove that he can be a really big piece in a championship-winning team. And he already was last year. But I do believe the Toronto Raptors will win. If I go too much into it, I'll just contradict what I'm saying. So I'm not going to. But I've just had a feeling since, for the past, this whole year, I've been saying the Raptors are making the finals. I'm going to stick with my pick. For a while, I've been saying the Raptors are going to upset the Bucks. I was a hater on the Raptors before the season. But after the first few months, I was saying the Raptors are going to make the finals over the Bucks, and I'm sticking with my pick with the Raptors making the finals. I'm also sticking with my pick with the Lakers making the finals. Now, I think everyone was talking about how bad they were in the bubble and to have cause for concern, but Rajon Rondo just returned to the bubble. Harrell also returned for the Clippers. So it's going to be just two players that are going to return, but I think they'll both be settled into their systems by then. And I do think LeBron wants it more than Kawhi. And we're talking about the GOAT conversation. LeBron wants to be the GOAT. Anthony Davis, I do think, wants it more than Paul George. I think, and we're talking about experience. And you could check out the Flight Mike's video on this, but we're talking about experience. Kawhi, he does have a ton of finals experience. Paul George, none. Lou Will, none. Harrell, none. They don't have experience, the Clippers. And Pat Bev, nope. Landry Shamet, nope. Vic Zubac, no. The Lakers, LeBron, been to the finals. AD, he hasn't been to the finals. Danny Green, been to the finals. J.R. Smith, been to the finals. JaVale McGee, been to the finals. Dwight Howard, been to the finals. I already said Danny Green. Alex Caruso, he hasn't. Rajon Rondo has been to the finals. And the Lakers' finals experience over the Clippers is just the thing that really sets them apart, I do believe. I really think that sets them apart. And that's why I'm picking the Lakers to go to the finals and beat the Toronto Raptors. Now, Toronto Raptors have all had finals experience also. But I do believe Patrick McCaw's final streak is going to end, sadly. He's not going to win the finals, but he's going to go there. He's going to go to the finals for the fourth straight year. But it's going to be the battle on who can get more championships, Patrick McCaw or LeBron James, which is... that seems like the dumbest thing ever. Can Patrick McCaw get more championships than LeBron? But if the Raptors and Lakers match up, they actually can. But I think the star power is just going to set the Lakers over the Raptors. Though Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam are legitimate top 20 players, I do believe just the star power of LeBron and Anthony Davis, two top 10 players, arguably top 5, are going to beat the Raptors. And the Raptors have the advantage in depth, but I do believe the Lakers are going to win. But, yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Tell me in the comments who you think is going to win the championship. But, yeah, thanks for watching. Be healthy, stay safe, and peace.